This is the Afterlife discussion. I am coming to you to bring you one of the most important videos I'm going to bring to you. And I'm going to say what I am going to say in this video slowly so that it can really be absorbed by everyone. So if you hear pauses, the video hasn't ended. It's just me taking my time to get this information out. Ever since I started this channel, I've talked about the reincarnation trick, or as some call it, the reincarnation trap. And I myself, I've given numerous instructions, numerous guidelines as to how to escape the reincarnation trick after physical death. Many other spiritualists have given guidelines, rules, instructions as to how to escape the reincarnation trick after physical death. And all the instructions are different from each other. All the rules, all the guidelines, all the directions, all the steps are different from each other. You have some saying that when you come up out of the body and you see the white light or you see the tunnel, turn away from it and turn in the opposite direction. You'll see the universe, and then you say, I want to go home to source. Then you have others say, when you come up out of the body, you see the white light, you see the tunnel, turn away from it, turn in the opposite direction, you'll see the real universe, and you say, I want to go home to my soul group. Then you have others who says to make a portal as soon as you come up out of the body, and you go to the portal, and you're out of the, you have escaped the reincarnation trick. Then you have others who say to look up, left, or right for the net grid. You see the holes through the grid. You go to the holes to the grid, and you go to Orion, and you have successfully escaped the reincarnation trick. And I've come to learn that none of these people, including myself, because some of these instructions I have given on this very channel, none of us have any idea what is the absolute way to escape the reincarnation trick. None of us. We can guess. We can make guesses off of research. We can make guesses off of what we have heard near-death experiencers say. We can make guesses off of common sense logic. But as far as us knowing, hey, this is the absolute solid one and only plan, none of us know. But what I'm finding is that a lot of people, including myself, we're getting confused. Which option should I choose? Because I'm hearing one spiritual say this is the only option. Then I'm hearing another spiritual say this is the only option. Then I'm hearing another spiritual say this is the only option. And this, and this, and this, and you don't know which one to choose. I'm going to give you in this video what I feel after finding out a lot of things this week. I'm going to give you what I feel in this video is a suggestive option to choose that is based off of pure common damn sense. No big fine fancy words, no going through the hoop instructions, just plain and simple common sense. Okay? You can choose to go with it, or you can choose to not go with it. But I'm going to go with it when my time comes, because it just is the most common sense option. It's plain, it's simple, it's common sense. So first and foremost, let me just say, we all know that something is wrong with this world here, this earth. Something is wrong. We were born here. We don't know why we were born here. We don't know why we're here. We know that reincarnation exists because there are hundreds of people who have told of legitimate stories of past lives. Some of us, including myself, have gone to past life regressionists and have learned of our past lives. So we know that reincarnation exists. We know that. We know that. We know that this is a prison planet because of the many horrible things that happens here. Murder, violence, racism, hatred, war, suffering, struggling, and the list goes on and on and on. So we know that this is a prison planet and that this is a horrible prison planet. No matter how beautiful it looks, no matter how many wonderful landmarks are in this country and that country, we know this is a prison planet. We know it. That much we do know because the ancients of old talked about it. They talked about it way before humans even existed. There are hieroglyphics and all of the like that point towards this being a prison planet. So that much we do know. That much we do know when it comes to reincarnation. We know reincarnation exists. We know this is a prison planet. And we know this is a simulation. There have been people who have seen things that only points to the fact that this world is a big digital video game. So we know that that's true. We know that we are not alone in this world. There are other beings out there, such as the Greys, the Anunnaki, the Draconians, the Reptilians. We know this. The ancients of old talked about this. There are tablets that show drawings of this. People have been silenced because they have come out and talked about seeing these very beings. So we know that those beings exist. We know that. So we know this is a prison planet, that's a simulation, reincarnation exists. We know that there are beings such as the Greys, the Reptilians, the Draconians, the Anunnaki. We know that. And we know that something is happening on the other side of physical death in the afterlife. Because we have had people who have gone through astral projection trips, and they've talked about the moon being a recycling center for souls. A recycling center for souls that I like to call, and a few others like to call, the Summerland. We know that there have been people who have astral projected to the other side, and they have found out that there is a reincarnation trick that awaits every soul who goes through physical death. There have been near-death experiencers who have seen this, so we know that that is a thing. So something is going on the other side. Something is going on the other side, whereas when a soul leaves the body, the soul is confronted with tricks to try to get the soul to reincarnate into another body again, with their memory being wiped of the life they just left from. We know that's happening because we have had near-death experiencers and astral projection people come out and say, hey, I've experienced this happening. I've seen this happening to someone else or to other people. So we know that that's happening. Now, from everything that we know about this earth, about these beings, the draconians, the reptilians, the Anunnaki, about reincarnation, everything we know, from that we can make a common sense decision when it comes time for us to cross over. That common sense decision. Oh, and before I get to the common sense decision, let me just say this as well. We also know that these beings feed off of loose energy. We know this because of the way that a lot of people act on this earth. They act as if they are possessed to a point whereas their job is to get you to emit negative emotions, which equals to loose energy. A lot of people have, including myself, have even physically felt the loose energy being pulled from us. So we know that that's a thing. We know that that's a thing, that as long as we're here, we are being fed off of by these malevolent beings for negative emotions, which is nothing more than loose energy. So now, with all that being said, we can take all of that and make a common sense decision as in regards of what to do whenever it comes time for us to cross over. We complain about paying bills, paying rent, paying mortgage, having to get up before the sun rises in the AM to go to work and not coming back home until the sun sets in the PM. Monday through Friday, sometimes working 2 and 3, 4, 5 jobs. Having to deal with all types of health issues and diseases and illnesses and grief and heartache. We complain about everything that is down here. So from that, we know that if we ever, when we ever, because we all are going to do it, when we ever go through physical death, we don't want to come back down here and do all of this again. We know that. That's a given. We don't want to, because we've been through it already. And it was horrible. It's suffering. It's enslavement. We don't want to do it again. So how are we going to prevent from being reincarnated back onto this earth again? Well, the first thing they say about the reincarnation trick is that you'll see the light, or you'll see the tunnel, or you may not even see the light or the tunnel. You might just see a Messiah, loved ones, angels, spirit guides, ascended masters. Here's what is my suggestion to do. If you were to see any of those things, the light, the tunnel, the beings, the family members, the friends, whomever, based off of common sense. When you come up out of the physical body and your soul sees any of those things, my suggestion is not to look for any net grid. And here's why. Let's start with this. The net grid is inside of the matrix. This is a matrix. This is a prison planet matrix. A simulated prison planet matrix, and that net grid is inside of it. As such, with the net grid being inside of it, the net grid is on the domain turf of Enki, who is Lucifer, and Marduk, who is Satan. Which means At any time since this net grid first existed up until now, Enki, Marduk, their archons, and those with them could have totally hijacked that net grid and used it as a trick to get people to reincarnate. They could not have, but they also could have. We don't know. But what we do know is that that net grid is on the turf of the prison planet that belongs to, that is owned by Enki, who is the demiurge, who is Yaldabaoth, who is Lucifer, and Marduk, who is Satan, who is Saturn, who is Set. It's on their turf, which means if they want to hijack it, and again, if they want to hijack it and they want to turn it into one of their many tricks, they could. And who's to say that they haven't already? Because they know that when souls come into the afterlife, that's what souls are going to use to get out. So before they use it to get out, let's hijack it and turn it into a trick. So that when they look for the grid and they see the holes in the grid and they go to the holes in the grid, they think that the holes in the grid is going to take them to liberation. But really, where it's going to take them is to the Anunnaki Recycling Center to await until they are recycled back down here again via reincarnation. This is why no one should trust the net grid or going through the holes in a grid, because you don't know where those holes are going to. Furthermore, let's say the net grid is the real net grid and you're looking at it, and then all of a sudden another grid appears in front of that net grid. And the net grid that appears in front of the real net grid is a net grid that is a part of the trick. And you're thinking you're going through the right net grid when really you're going through the tricking net grid, which takes you right back to reincarnation again. Common sense would tell you to not trust any type of external source, to leave this prison planet and to escape the reincarnation trick. Do not trust any external source. And a net grid is an external source. What I have come to learn this week is you don't have to go without to leave. All you have to do is go within. The way to leave is from within, not from without. The way to leave is internal, not external. You don't have to look for something outside of yourself to leave, to escape. All you have to do is look for what's already inside of you. And the net grid is outside of you. The net grid is external. And so I would not trust that. I also do not trust making portals to leave. Because again, what you're doing is you're creating an external exit. You are creating something to appear outside of you, the soul, to exit. And you're creating it again on the turf, on the domain that belongs to, that is owned by Enki, the demiurge, Yaldabaoth, Lucifer, and Marduk, Satan, Saturn, Set. So you don't have to create a portal outside of yourself to exit. You don't have to create a portal outside of yourself to escape. I also don't recommend looking for the real light, because the real light is not going to appear within the confines of the prison planet, the matrix. If the real light appears, it's going to appear on the outside of the matrix, on the outside of the prison planet, not on the inside within the confines. So that doesn't make sense either. And I've heard a lot of spiritualists say, look for, and let me backtrack and say this again so I can make sure I'm saying this correct. I've heard a lot of spiritualists say, look for the real light. You'll know the real light from the light that belongs to the reincarnation trick. How do you know the real light? How do you know? No one knows what this real light looks like. And how do you know if the archons, Enki, Yaldabaoth, the demiurge, Lucifer, and Marduk, Satan, Saturn, Set, won't make a artificial light that looks just like the real light? How do you know? How do you know? No, I would not trust that either, going through any light. No. Common sense would say to use what is already within you. What is already within you? Abilities. What is the main ability that you can use to get from point A to point B in the afterlife? Nano travel teleportation. That's what I would use. Nano travel teleportation. Well, how are you going to use it? You use it hand in hand with thought intention. Many near-death experiencers, many individuals who have done astral projection, they have said when you cross over in the afterlife, because the afterlife is the astral and the astral is the afterlife. When you cross over into the afterlife astral, your thoughts is what gets you from point A to point B. Your thoughts are what manifests anything and everything. So you have come up out of your body after physical death, and you're in the astral afterlife, and you want to escape the reincarnation trick, and you want to get out of the prison planet matrix, the confines of it all, then what the common sense thing would be to do is to think up, let me go, or teleport me to the highest realms outside of the prison planet, outside of the matrix, completely outside of the prison planet, completely outside of the matrix. And by the time you finish that sentence, through nano travel, you have teleported outside of the prison planet, outside of the matrix, to the highest realms. Because now, from what I have heard, the highest realms are the realms with high vibrational frequency that Enki, Yaldabaoth, the demiurge, Lucifer, and Marduk, Saturn, Satan, can't get to. They can't get to those higher realms because they can't match the frequency. And in those higher realms, you can create whatever, whomever, wherever. Yet I hear people saying, when you go to the holes in the grid, go to Orion. Well, I'm telling you right now, from what I've heard, Orion is the home of the malevolent beings. And I have researched that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Orion is the home of the malevolent beings. That's where the archons are. So why would you want to go there? Why would you want to go to the realm where they are? I've even heard Elon Musk talking about Orion, planet Orion. If it's not a realm that belongs to the Dark Ones, why is one of the Dark One's puppets talking about it? And I have heard Elon Musk talk about it plenty of times. I do not trust going to Orion. And I would recommend no one go to Orion. No. Because that can't be trusted. And people say go to Orion because that's where Sophia is. Sophia is the reason why the demiurge exists. Sophia is the reason why Yaldabaoth, exists. She's the reason why this planet is a prison planet now, because of her screw up. So do you think I really want to go anywhere and be near her? I don't care how sorry she is for what she did. Your screw up is why hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people have been and were enslaved and still are enslaved today. up there on the Summerland. No, I don't want to go anywhere where she is. And I don't recommend anyone going there either, because you don't know if you go there if it's going to be safe. You don't know if you go there, the Archon, because I'm telling you, I've heard a lot of people say Orion is the home of the Archons. And I've even heard some say Orion is the home of the Anunnaki. And you know what? I kind of believe it, because I've heard a lot of bad things about this Orion. And when you keep hearing numerous, and I'm talking about not just 5, 6, 7 people, we're talking about 40, 50, 60, 70 to 100 people saying the same thing about Orion, 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 Orion. They all can't be wrong. People who have astral projected to Orion and have seen horrible things. People who have had near-death experiences and went to Orion and have seen horrible things. No, I don't trust Orion. Absolutely not. You can go, but I'm telling you, if something happens to you once you get there, it's your own fault. I wouldn't trust that. The higher realms make sense. Again, we're using common sense here. We're not going with all of this philosophical, sophisticated instructions. Just plain old common sense. Plain old common sense is the high realms in the afterlife are realms where it's nothing but high vibrational frequency. And Enki, who is Lucifer, who is Yaldabaoth, who is the Demiurge, and Marduk, who is Satan, who is Saturn, who is Set, and all of their archons, and all of the other malevolent beings with them, they don't have high vibrational frequency. So that means they can't reach those high realms. So that's common sense. Put two and two together, that's the place where you want to go. A place where they can't reach you, where you can create and you don't have to worry about them coming in and tearing down your creation, your realm. Just common sense. People say go to the void. I don't trust the void either. And I used to be one of the ones who used to say, yeah, go to the void. Again, I have been doing so much research these past few days. For 5 days straight. I mean, I haven't watched any television. I've been coughing and vomiting and all of this through me trying to research, because every step of the way I've been getting setbacks, vomiting, chills, body aches, all of this, because Lucifer's trying to stop me from finding out this truth, but he's not. And so with me doing all of this research these past 5 days, well, actually 6 days, because even yesterday, I've learned, no, I don't trust the void either. I don't trust the void. I don't trust Orion. I don't trust the net grid. I don't trust turning around and looking for the universe and going to source. I don't trust any of that. I don't trust any of it, because how do you know that all of this is true? How do you know the source is good? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know the void is okay? How do you know? How do you know Orion is okay? How do you know the net grid is okay? But I have heard plenty of people who have gone through astral projection and have said the highest realms are okay. Plenty of them. Plenty of people who have had near-death experiences who have said they've got, and these are not Christians, these are just, even one atheist said it. Had a near-death experience, said he went to the highest realm, and he said it was just nothing but people with their creations, buildings. It was like the movie Inception. But I haven't heard anyone really astral project or had a near-death experience and say, I went to the source, and I went to source, and source is okay. We can trust source. I went through the void, and we can trust the void. I went to Orion, and we can trust Orion. Or I went to my soul group, and we can trust our soul. We don't even know who our. I know. Alex Collier talks about turning away from the light, and you'll see the universe in front of you, and then you go back to your soul family group. I don't know them. And yeah, they may have been my soul family group in my past life, but I don't remember my past life. Who's to say that my soul family group or my soul group or whatever the name is called, who's to say they are a bunch of bad people? Who's to say they're people that I won't even get along with? No. The most common sense decision, in my opinion, is to go to the high realms where you won't be touched by Enki and Marduk and the Archons and all of them, and you can create and you don't have to worry about any of that as long as you keep a high vibrational frequency. Pleroma is fine if you are fine with never being able to have your own realm, never being reunited with your family, and you're just there and you're there with the oneness. If that's fine with you, then Pleroma is your place. And I thought Pleroma was the type of place where you could create and have your own realm there, but I found out these past few days, no, Pleroma is not like that. You cannot establish anything else new in Pleroma. Pleroma is just a place where you are one with the divine, with whatever the divine spark is. You know, this divine spark, this divine light, this divine energy. You're one with that, and it's one with you, and that's all there is. So if you're fine with that, then Pleroma is your place. But if you are the type of person whereas you want to get into the afterlife and you want to reunite with your family by manifesting them, you want to have your own realm, you want to have this and that, you want to have a lifetime of you being on the beach or you being in Disneyland, whatever, then from what I have been researching all day, every day, these past few days is you want to go to the higher realms because that's where I have been told repeatedly over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. That's what's happening there. And it's happening there without the tampering with from the archons, from Enki, from Marduk, from Lucifer, from Satan, from Yaldabaoth, the demiurge. So that would be my suggestion. Plain and simple as that. Cross over to the afterlife. Think in your mind, I am going to teleport to the highest realms completely outside of this prison planet, completely outside of this matrix. And through nano travel, you will teleport there. If you have the high vibrational frequency to match, you will teleport there. Plain and simple, you're done. That's it. Once you're there, then hey, it's a playground for you. And that's what I'm not hearing other people say. I'm hearing people complicate this. Well, you got to do this. You know, if you got to say teleport now, and if you don't use the word now, then you're not going to get there. And you got to do this, and you got to do that, and if you do step 3 wrong, then come back to step 2. It's so complicated. They're making it so complicated to the point where people will say, well, this is too complicated. Just forget it. I'll just reincarnate and get it right on the next try. It's almost as if these people, they want to make it sound as if it's impossible because it's so difficult, because you have to go through all these many steps. And I really believe the reason why they're making it seem that way is because they don't know themselves. This is just information that they are regurgitating from someone else. The suggestion I gave came just straight from common sense. You just put 2 and 2 together. If the high realms are the realms where Lucifer and Satan, Enki and Marduk can't reach, and these high realms are outside of the prison planet, outside of the matrix, why the hell else would you want to go anywhere else? Why the hell would you want to go anywhere else? That's where you would want to go, especially if you want to create your own realm, you want to be with your family members again, your pets. Why would you want to go anywhere else? And why would you want to use an external source, which may end up being a trick to get you to reincarnate to get there? All you have to do is use nano travel. And according to near-death experiencers and according to astral projectionists, nano travel is a thing. You think it and then you're there. Simple. Simple common sense. This is what I wanted to come and bring you all, because a lot of these methods I was regurgitating myself because I thought, hey, this is right. This is right. No, it's not right. Because when you really sit down and you think about these things, you don't know if these methods that you're using, the net grid, going to the soul contact group, the soul family group, going to source, going to Orion, going through a portal, looking for the real light. You don't know if these are traps or not. You don't know. And one mistake that leads you to the reincarnation trap, it's over. It's not like you can say, oh, let me do a redo. Let me have a redo. No, one mistake and it's over. This is why you have to use common sense and not just jump at this instruction just because someone is saying it. And this is what I was doing because I thought, okay, but this sounds logical. Yeah. No, it doesn't. When you really sit down and think about it, no, it doesn't sound logical. A net grid that is within the confines of the matrix, and somehow Enki and Marduk have not thought of taking that net grid and using it as a way to trick people. I would, if I were Enki and Marduk, I would. That would be the first thing I would do. Wait a minute, these people, they have found a way to lead to this net grid. But let me hide, because this net grid is on my turf. It's on our turf. Let's take this net grid, let's hijack it and use it as a way to trick people. They'll think they're going to the hole in the grid, but when they go to the hole in the grid, they think they're going through liberation. They're going to liberation, but where they're really going is straight to the moon, which is the recycling center. They're going straight to the Summerland. Why wouldn't Enki and Marduk think of doing that? They probably have. No doubt they have. This is why, no, it's not logical to go through any grid. I also want to say, you have these people who say, you have to do this, you have to think this way, you have to act this way, because if you don't do this, if you don't do that, if you don't act this way, if you don't behave this way, you're not going to be able to escape. It's so many rules. And it's so many rules where it has you thinking, well, darn, this is just like religion. Because every religion has rules. Christianity, if you don't read the Bible, if you don't pray every day, if you don't have a Christian relationship with Jesus, you're not going to go to heaven. You can't curse, you can't drink beer, you can't wear for some Christian people, you can't wear nail polish, you can't wear long dangling earrings. You can't use the Lord's name in vain, you can't do this, you can't do that. When Christmas comes, you can't have Christmas decorations because that's of the devil and all of the devil. So many things that you can't do. And if you do any of those things, you're going to end up in hell. Every religion has all of these ridiculous rules, and it seems like spirituality is no different. Nothing but rules. Number one, why are there rules when karma doesn't exist? Now, no, that's not saying for you to go out there and be an asshole. No. You shouldn't be an asshole to anyone. You should treat everyone the way you would want to be treated. You should care about everyone, because I have constantly said, and I will continue to say, I can pass someone in the street, and I wholeheartedly mean this. I can pass someone in the street who I do not know from Adam or Eve, but I love that person. I love him anyway. You know why I love him? Because of the fact that we are both connected. We're all connected to each other. All of us humans, not NPCs. All of us humans, we're all connected to each other. We're all related. American Indians, they are famous for believing in this. We're all connected. We are. So I love my fellow man, woman, no matter they're black, white, Spanish, whomever. I don't care if I know you personally. We just had a 5-second conversation on the street at the bus stop. Hey, you're my brother, you're my sister. That's how we're supposed to be towards each other. So no, when I say karma doesn't exist, that doesn't mean you should go out there and be an asshole. No, you should be opposite of an asshole. You should be your brother or your sister's keeper, whether you know them personally or not. But when I say karma doesn't exist, what I mean is that you are so much walking on eggshells because you feel if you do one thing wrong, it's going to keep you from escaping the reincarnation trick. And it shouldn't be that way. Because what you're doing then is you're worrying so much about, oh my God, did I do this right? Did I, oh my God, I missed the 1 a.m. of meditation. I'm not going to be able to escape. You're worrying about that, and worrying is nothing but low vibrational frequency, which is loose energy, which feeds the archons, which feeds Enki and Marduk. So you're worrying about all of this. And this is what these spiritualists have you doing. They have you worrying. Oh, you can't eat meat. Oh, you can't listen to secular music. If you listen to secular music, you're not going to be able to escape. You can't listen to Erica Badu anymore. I mean, if you want to listen to Erica Badu, it's only one song of hers that I like. The other songs I can't stand because Erica Badu, I don't think she has good sense. But if you listen to Tears for Fears, if you listen to Duran Duran, you're not going to be able to escape the reincarnation trick. Oh, you're listening to Ramstein, you're not going to be able to escape the reincarnation trick. Oh, you're listening to Jamie Foxx's music, you're not going to be able to. All of this, Oh, you're watching horror movies, you're not going to be able to escape the reincarnation trick. It's so many rules, and a lot of these rules are ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous. They'll have you walking on eggshells 24/7 around the clock. Yes, you should let go of attachments. And when I say let go of attachments, that doesn't mean saying screw you, mom, screw you, dad, screw you, husband, screw you, wife, screw you, child, children. No, that's not what it means. It just means that when it's your time to cross over, you're crossing over without regret of leaving them behind. You're not saying, darn, I wish I had more time with them. You're saying, hey, I'm glad I'm getting the hell off this prison planet. That's all it is. That's all it is. But while you're here, yes, you still love them. You love them to pieces. You show them love. You treat them with love. But when it's your time to cross over, you're crossing over without regret of leaving them behind. You're not sad about leaving them behind. You're actually joyous because you're leaving this prison planet. And if they know what you know, eventually you know that eventually they'll come and join you one of these days soon. That's what letting go of attachments mean. But I've seen a lot of people make attachments out to be, you have to cut off your family members, cut off your friends. That sounds like a cult. That sounds like the Warren Jeffs cult. That sounds like the Heaven's Gate cult. It sounds like the David Koresh cult. Cut off all your family members and friends. No, you don't. You're an idiot if you do that. Because when you cut off your family and friends that are healthy, not the ones that are toxic, what you're doing is you're cutting off a piece of yourself. You're hurting yourself by hurting them by cutting them off. No, you need them. You need that community around you while you're still here. Yes, you should let go of identity attachments. What that means is that you recognize, yes, you may be Rebecca, you may be John, you may be Sally, you may be Jack, you may be whomever, you may be Sam, you may be Hugo. But you recognize that when you cross over into the afterlife, that name that you have, that age that you were, that race that you were, that gender that you were is no more. You're not that anymore. You're an Isby. You're an immortal spiritual being. And you are crossing over with you knowing that you are no longer Rebecca, Jack, Hugo, Sam, Miles, whatever. You're crossing over knowing that you have let that go. You're crossing over knowing I'm an immortal spiritual being. That's what letting go of attachments mean. That's the common sense meaning. Now you have these spiritualists that give these philosophical meanings. Well, letting go of identity attachments means that you have to tear up your birth certificate, get rid of your driver's license, your ID. You have to stop having your family members call you by your name. That's stupid. You tear up your driver's license, and while you're still here, how are you gonna drive your car and especially if you get stopped by the police? You're going to need your driver's license while you're still here. You're going to need your birth certificate while you're still here, your ID. Not having your family members call you by your name, what is that going to prove? See, it's all of these things. What I have learned is that you have to apply common sense to it. Instead of making it all complicated with all of these big spiritual type of concepts, just apply everyday plain common sense. Common sense. When you are in that coffin, you are no longer Rebecca. And Rebecca, I'm just using your name as, I hope you live a long, I hope nothing happens to you. I'm just using your name as, I'm using your name because your name is, I love the name Rebecca, so that's why I'm using it. But you're no longer Rebecca. You're no longer Samantha. You're no longer Hugo. You're no longer Miles. You're no longer Jack. You're no longer Sam. As a matter of fact, what's in that coffin is a body. The soul has no name. The soul has no gender, it has no race, it has no age. And so when you are crossing over, when you are minutes, seconds, minutes, hours, days, even months away from crossing over, you are training your soul to understand that you are about to cross over with you not being the name that you were given, the age that you are, the race that you are, the gender that you are, the career profession that you have. Being a mom, a dad, a husband, a wife, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a son, a daughter. And there is one affirmation, well, one or two, that you can do every day in the seconds. Well, in the seconds, you can't do it every day, but in the seconds, in the minutes, and every day in the days, and every day in the weeks, and every day in the months that you can do to train your soul to the understanding that once it crosses over, is no longer the name, the age, the race, the career choice, the title that it was when the body was still functioning. Maybe about one or two affirmations. That's it. I see people having others do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 affirmations. What you're doing is you're overworking yourself. You don't need to do all those many affirmations. Really, your affirmations should be about 30 minutes of your meditation. That's it. And you really only need one affirmation that's comprised of getting rid of attachments, including identity attachments, ego attachments, and an affirmation of knowing exactly what to say once you cross over. All that can be in one affirmation together. One. You don't need 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9. I see people telling others to do 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 affirmations. When do you? Come on. Overworking yourself, overcomplicating yourself. Listening to this binaural beat and that. I mean, some people listen about 5 or 6, 7, 8 binaural beats. You don't have, when do you have time for that? Number one, you do 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 binaural beats, you'll be spending hours in meditation. And I told you in a past video, You don't have to spend 4 or 5, you don't even have to spend 3 hours, really. 3 hours is okay. 3 hours may be the cutoff, but anything after 3 hours, you don't 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You'll be spending 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours doing multiple affirmations, multiple binaural beats. You don't have to do all that. And I have come to realize these past few days that this whole spiritual journey has been made by a lot of people to be very complicated when it really should be just plain and just filled with nothing but just simple common sense. Do this, you got to do this, you can't do that, you got to do this, and all of this stupid stuff. No, common sense will tell you no, only thing you have to do is you let go of the identity, you let go of the ego, and I'm going to get on the ego in a few seconds, but you let go of the identity, you let go of the ego, you let go of the attachments. You do the best you can to have a high vibrational frequency, and you know what to do when you cross over based off of common sense. Simple. Simple. That's it. And the reason why you should let go of ego, because ego is just arrogance. That's all it is. I know I'm the chosen one. No, you are not the chosen one. Everyone who is a human being is chosen. Just just as some know it and some don't. But every single human on the face of this earth is chosen. They are the chosen one. It's not just one person. And when you start thinking it's just one person, that's your ego, which you need to get rid of. When you start thinking, oh, no one has the abilities that I have, that's ego, which you need to get rid of. When you start thinking that you are special above anyone else, that's ego of what you need to get rid of. Because number one, let's go back to common sense. Who wants to be around someone like that? Who wants to be around someone who just thinks that, hey, I'm the shit and no one else is the shit. No one else is the shit other than me. No one wants to be around someone like that. You're not going to have any friends, or real friends anyway. No one's going to like you because they're going to think you're an arrogant, pompous jerk. So that's one common sense reason to get rid of the ego right there. Because if you don't, who's going to want to be around you? No one's going to like you. No one likes people like that. And that type of thinking is negative. Because what you're doing is when you think that you are the shit and no one else is the shit but you are the chosen one. No one else is the chosen one but you. You are the only one who has abilities. No one else has it but you. The universe is only talking to you. The ancestors are only talking to you. When you think that and no one else is talking to, the ancestors aren't talking to anyone else but you. The universe isn't talking to anyone else but you. All of that. When you think like that, what you're doing is you're putting down others. You're putting down others. You're squashing other people's esteem and lifting your own. That's negative. That's the equivalent of you verbally abusing someone. Oh, you aren't shit. Excuse my language. You aren't shit. You'll never be shit. You are nothing but garbage. Or you aren't pretty. You're ugly. That's equivalent of you doing that. While you are uplifting yourself, you're pushing down someone else. That's negative. And what comes from negativity? Loose energy, low vibrational frequency. And that same low vibrational frequency will prevent you from going to the higher realms. See, all of that just came from common sense. It's common sense. I didn't have to go around any spiritual, philosophical loopholes to come up with that. I just put two and two together. And that's what I implore people to do when it comes to talking about the afterlife and the reincarnation trick. Forget everything you have heard from these spiritualists and just apply everyday common sense to all of these factors, and it will make sense. Just everyday plain common sense. Just add two and two together. That's all. doing tit for tat. Someone does you wrong, you got to go get revenge. No, you should work on that. You should stop doing that. And here's why, going back to common sense. Is it going to make you feel better? After you have gotten revenge on that person, yeah, it may make you feel good in the moment. But then after that moment has passed, do you feel any better about yourself? No. It hasn't made you feel better about yourself. And as a matter of fact, what it has done, it has given satisfaction to the person you're getting revenge against. Because they have done something or said something to make you so angry that you have come out of your character to do revenge against them. They have won, you have lost. I do not like Michelle Obama. Sorry. Not sorry. Apologies. I don't like her. Because her and her husband did nothing for specifically black people, but did nothing for this country at all. And they are nothing but puppets, just like all the rest of the many other presidents, George Bush included. So I don't like Michelle Obama at all, nor do I like her husband. But one thing I do like that Michelle Obama said one time before, she said, when they go low, I go high. And I did like that because it brought so much truth forth when it comes to how you should respond to people who do wrong to you. No, don't do tit for tat, because you do revenge against them because they have done wrong to you. Revenge. Revenge is doing something bad against someone else. Bad. Bad equals negative. Let's go back to common sense. Negativity equals loose energy, which equals low vibrational frequency. So when you cross over, how are you going to go to the higher realms if your soul is filled with low vibrational frequency? See, it's just common sense. Common sense. On top of that, you don't have to do revenge against them. Karma does not exist, but one thing that does exist, and I know it exists because I've experienced this happening with all of the ones who have done wrong against me. If someone does wrong against you, the wrong that they put out in that universe is going to come back to them like a boomerang. If they do wrong to you, the universe is going to do wrong back to them. Because they put that wrongness out in the universe, and the universe is going to throw it right back to them. And when it's thrown back to them, you're going to know it. You may not be around them. You may not be able to, um, you know, they may not contact you to let you know it has happened, but you're going to know that the universe has given back to them what they have given, what they have put out into the universe against you. So you don't have to do revenge. Just trust the universe to take care of that person on your behalf, and the universe will. This is why, yes, you should, if you are doing revenge against someone and you know your time is coming for you to cross over, stop it. Stop it. Because you doing revenge against someone and you know your time is coming for you to cross over, you're not going to go to the higher realms. Again, that's just based off of plain common sense, not any Sumerian loopholes, Gnostic loopholes. No, it's just common sense. You're not going to be dirty and go to a clean realm. And doing revenge against someone is something, whereas you're doing someone dirty because they did you dirty. And you doing someone dirty because they did you dirty, that makes you dirty. And so as such, you're not going to go to a clean realm when you do cross over. Holding grudges, that shouldn't be a thing either. Because again, let's apply common sense. What happens when you hold grudges? You When you hold grudges against someone, what you are doing is you may not even realize it, but you are causing chronic stress to yourself, anxiety, and even physical illnesses like high blood pressure and heart disease. Yes, that is a thing. Holding a grudge against someone consumes so much mental energy, and it hinders you from really being happy because you can't be happy because you have this grudge. Again, all of this is just common sense, just plain common sense logic. No, you don't have to be around the person who has done you wrong. You don't have to go to them and say, hey, I forgive you if you don't want to. But you are saying to yourself, I'm not going to hold this hate, this dislike in my heart for you anymore because it's toxic to me. And because I care about me and I love me, I'm not going to do this to myself anymore. The grudge against you from me is gone. It's gone. But I wish not to have any parts with you. I don't want to talk with you. I don't want to have any relationship with you. But the grudge is gone. Because when you have a grudge against someone, again, it consumes mental energy. And what type of mental energy does it consume? Negative mental energy, because you're thinking about, oh, I can't stand that person. Oh, I hate them. Oh, I'll never forgive them. All of that is negativity. Going back to common sense now, let's add it up like math. Negativity equals loose energy equals low vibrational frequency. Crossing over to the afterlife, low vibrational frequency cannot match with the high vibrational frequency realms. Common sense. See? Common sense. So to remove that negativity from you, let go of the grudge. Let go of it. Stop disliking them. Stop hating them. You don't have to have anything to do with them, but stop disliking them and hating them. And clear your mind of them, period. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, and what have you. Regrets. Same thing. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Wish I had done this. Wish I had done that. You can't go. Here's common sense again. You can't go back. You can't go back and do the things that you wish you could have done. You can't go back and say the things you wish you could have said. So what do since you cannot go back? You let go of that regret and you move on. And you make each day count. Common sense. Because when you live with regret, oh, I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have done that. I wish I could have said that. I wish I could have said this. All of that is negative thinking because you are blaming yourself. You are dwelling on past mistakes of things you didn't say, you didn't do. You're dwelling on missed opportunities. All of that is negativity. And again, let's go back to the math board. Negativity equals loose energy. Loose energy equals low vibrational frequency. Low vibrational frequency, when you cross over, can then match to the high vibrational frequency realms. Again, common sense. So if it doesn't match with the high vibrational frequency realms, the obvious goal is to let go of regret, even when you are on your way out and about to go into the afterlife. Let go of regret, especially knowing that when you go to the higher realms, all the things you didn't get a chance to do here, you can do there. You can do there in the realm that you create. You can, if you never got a chance to go paragliding, you can go in the realm you create in the higher realms. So what are you missing? What are you regretting? Again, common sense. And these are the things that you need to do to be able to cross over and escape the reincarnation trick and get out of the matrix, get out of this prison planet, based off of common sense logic. In my opinion, these are the things that you have to do. And none of these things that you have to do is complicated. It doesn't require you spending hours and hours in meditation and hours of listening to beta waves and that and different type of spiritual musics and mantras. It doesn't require any of that. All it requires is you using common damn sense. Just common sense. That's it. Lastly, I want to mention about high vibrational frequency. They say you have to have a high vibrational frequency when you cross over. And yes, you do. But I will say it is hard to have high vibrational frequency in this world. People make it sound so easy. Oh, you just have to, you just have to keep that high vibrational frequency. You have to keep with your higher self. It's hard to do. We are living in a world where millions of people are mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and financially struggling, such as myself, dealing with severe health issues. All of this. Um, it's hard to have a high vibrational frequency, but you do the best you can. And this is what I'm not hearing a lot of spiritualists say. You do the best you can. There are going to be some days where you are going to feel low vibration. Uh, damn, here's another damn day. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm sad. You're going to have days like that because you are in a body. And it's okay if you have days like that. It's okay if you have days where you cry. It's okay. There's a stigma around the thing that men aren't supposed to cry because if men cry, they're pussies. That's bull. My grandfather used to cry a lot of times. And I think it is very healthy for a man to cry a lot of times. And you don't have to go in private to do it. But there's a stigma that men shouldn't cry. If you cry, you use a form of weakness. No, it's not. And the same thing with women. Women shouldn't cry. Only babies cry. No, that's bull. You're going to have days where you just break out into sobs because life is kicking your ass, and that's okay. But when you have those days, it's up to you whether you're going to wallow in that behavior and stay stuck in that behavior, or whether you're going to say, okay, I've had a good cry. I've had a day where I felt like, today was shit. Then let me counteract this. Let me get into meditation. 20 minutes, 30, well, I don't recommend 20 minutes, but 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. Getting into meditation, listening to music. I don't care if, well, Madonna, she's an Illuminati puppet. I don't care. Yes, she is, but a lot of her songs have uplifted me when I have felt like shit, and I've put on a Madonna song and it has made me feel so much better. And I can't stand Madonna because I know Madonna's a puppet, but a lot of her songs has brought me out of ruts. There have been times when I have felt at my lowest and I've turned on Duran Duran's Ordinary World, and oh my stars, I felt so much better. And Duran, I know they have to, come on now. You know damn well they've signed. They're puppets. All them rock bands back then were puppets. But you listen to some of these spiritualists, they'll tell you no, you listen to these musical artists will cause you to not escape. Because these artists are all puppets, and so you shouldn't listen to any of their music. But then that's the case, you wouldn't be listening to anything then. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of the classical uh artists, classical musicians, I'm pretty sure they are puppets too. Should we stop listening to classical music? Should we stop listening to Celtic music? Should we stop listening to jazz? Should we stop listening to Miles Davis? That's the case, we wouldn't listen to anything. See, you can't listen to these people because they are not using common sense. They're using their fake philosophy of spirituality, which is absolutely ridiculous. If you are feeling down and the only thing that will make you feel up again is listening to Pharrell's Happy, turn it on. If you're feeling down and the only thing that will make you feel happy again is listening to a song by Taylor Swift, even though I can't stand Taylor Swift, but one of her songs that she sings is a song that uplifts you, turn it on. Because it's not about the song, it's about you getting your vibrational frequency back up where it needs to be. These spiritualists, they want you to be perfect. And it's impossible to be perfect on this earth. It's impossible. You are never going to be perfect. There are going to be times when you are going to get mad and say, fuck. There are going to be times. There are going to be times when you are going to say something or do something that you really shouldn't say or do spiritually. But it's how you come through that situation. Are you going to just, hey, I screwed up spiritually and I'm going to just leave it at that? Or are you going to say, well, I screwed up spiritually, but I'm going to make sure to work hard to not screw up spiritually like this again? It's what you decide to do from it. But a lot of these spiritualists, they talk about how you have to be perfect. You have to be absolutely perfect, because if you're not absolutely perfect, you're not going to escape. And they're saying this. They're saying this to make it sound damn near impossible to escape. I used to believe when researcher Howdy Mikowski said only 1% is going to escape the reincarnation trap. I don't believe that any longer. And looking back on me believing that, I would now say I wouldn't even put that out there. Because you know how discouraging that is when you say that only 1% is going to escape. That is so discouraging because, number one, how do you know? How do you know that only 1% is going to escape? Have you talked to the billions of people on this earth? All of them? To know what their spiritual walk life is? No, you haven't. Are you saying only 1% is going to escape because they're not going by the spiritual rules and standards and guidelines that you have set forth? And because they aren't, you feel that only 1% is going to escape? No, I don't believe that. I believe that every day you have people escaping this reincarnation trick after physical death, every single day. And I believe you have them in droves. You see, and the reason why I believe that is because you have a lot of people doing a lot of the right spiritual things every single day. You just don't hear about them because either you don't know them or you're not in their home to monitor them, but they're doing it every day. But to put that statement out there, that would have anyone feeling discouraged. Oh, well, if only 1% is going to escape, that means I don't have a chance. No. We're supposed to encourage, not discourage. And saying only 1% will escape, that's highly discouraging. And it's incorrect because you don't know if it's only 1% going to escape. You don't know. You haven't talked to everybody on earth. You have people all the way over in Africa who know about the reincarnation trick, who every day are doing meditation and affirmations. You got people all the way over in Czechoslovakia doing it. You don't know. And so this is what I have come to learn these past few days. No, do not trust any grid, portal, additional light, going to Orion, going to Sophia. Don't trust going to the void. Just whenever your time comes, use common sense, old fashioned logic. The higher realms cannot be touched according to hundreds of NDEers and astral projectionists. They cannot be touched by Enki, Marduk, the Archons, or any other malevolent beings because they don't have the frequency to touch those realms. In those realms, you can create whatever, whomever, wherever. And the power to escape the reincarnation trick and this prison planet is within, not without, but within. The ability to nano travel, the thought intention ability, those are abilities that are within. So you use those abilities to get out, to escape, and to go to the higher realms outside of this prison planet. Simple, old-fashioned, common sense logic. Simple. And the things you do before you transition over are things that you should do whether you're going to transition over or not. They are things that you should be doing every day just because they're the right things to do. Be kind to your fellow man, woman. Don't do revenge. Let the universe do its job for you. Don't have any regrets. Understand that when you cross over to the afterlife, you are no longer your name, your race, your age, your identity, your career title, your title at home. Cross over knowing that you should not have any regrets about leaving your loved ones behind, because if you know what to do and you have told your loved ones what to do and your loved ones have believed in what you have told them, you know you're going to see them again. It's just all common sense logic. So this is what I wanted to say. All the past videos that I have of giving instructions of how to leave, I'm going to take them down, because I don't want anyone else to follow those instructions that I followed and to get reincarnated. And I wholeheartedly believe those past videos that I have done where I've given instructions to go to the grid, go to the void, go and look for another light, go to your soul group, go to source. I wholeheartedly believe if anyone follows those advice, those suggestions of advice, I believe you're going to get tricked into reincarnating right back down here again. I believe it on a 99% scale. So I'm taking those videos down. And I'm going to go forth on this channel just giving common sense logic, putting 2 and 2 together to make 4. So leave your comments below about all of this if you wish. This is the Afterlife discussion. Thank you all for listening. Until next time.